And it was Billy's mother. So Billy's mother, it was Billy's mother and father, Billy, they've all lived in Granville. Granville people, even though Yacht Club is over the river, in that place over there, Centerdale, it's still, I was standing at the funeral home the other day, and whenever I stop before a funeral, I go over and start talking to Billy about Granville, and I'm always late. So, but any further ado, Billy Sgambato will give a little talk on Yacht Club, and I'm sure we're going to hear a little Johnston Granville stuff in between. Billy Sgambato.
Yacht Club was started in 1915.
Oh, wow.
It's the oldest company in around, and we are the state soda now, finally. It was started by a gentleman, Harry Sharp. In fact, Danny works for his
Robbins Group, yeah, LC Shop, still living.
L.C. Robbins
Shop.
is Harry Sharp's daughter, and she's still living.
How old is she?
92.
She's 92.
Still smokes a pack of Parliament.
And I said, when he came from England, there was a company in England called Yacht Club, and he started the company. Where the funeral home is in the back, there was a little garage back there, from what they tell me, and that's where he started. That's what he said to me. Then they moved into the house that I have. My house was built in 1875, and then they built the building that it's in now in 1923. And Mineral Spring Island was named for the mineral springs years ago. And they drilled a well, and it's 180 feet deep, and there's 80 foot of ledge under the building and 80 feet of water. And we've been using that water since 1923. And the health department checks it every week, and the characteristics haven't changed in all those years. We can still bottle it out of the ground, but I don't. I put it through carbon filters just in case something came up, something happened like chemicals or something, carbon will take it out. But it's checked. I make the state check it before the filters and after the filters, so we know if anything's wrong. So far. Not bad. But the company is, we've been making this soda for 96 years, and we still make it the same way they made it 96 years ago. We still use cane sugar, and we make the cane sugar the day that we bottle the soda. It's bagged sugar, and we don't. It's not like pre-mixed or anything. And all our formulas are our own, Harry Sharp's, and mine. We still diverse beers. Formula is 100 years old, and Harry had it written on a piece of paper. I still have it. I still make it the same way he did. But it's, everything is, it's all natural if we can make it natural. We have 20 sugar flavors. We have 7 diets and 5 seltzer flavors. And my father went to work here in 1945, and it was like there was 2 families, like what we were one. I was a kid, but I was always in there. And they treated me like a son, and they taught me everything. And Harry's son was a graduate from MIT and Brown University, was a chemist. And he taught me everything I know. I mean, as far as that goes, chemistry and stuff. Very smart person. And my father ran the company from the 50s. And in 1961, I was 19, and my father broke his leg. And I asked Father if I could buy the business, because I was running it. I ran it for 4 months without my dad, without anybody. So, and he said, "I've been waiting for you to ask." He said, "Your dad's been trying to buy it for a few years, but I wouldn't sell it to him." Because he said, "You know how to fix machines," he said, "and anybody, all the machinery is antique. The washing machine came to the plant in 1948, and all the machinery is in the 50s, and we keep it going." And so and my father used to also tell me it was a depression business, and I wish he lived a few more years. He was 95, he died 4 years ago. But he worked until he was 90. And, if people start looking for good stuff, homemade stuff, and our business has increased, and it increases every week. And so and we're getting good feedback from everybody. So but you have to do it right. You have to do it. You have to be. You can't change. I would never make anything cheaper because people aren't buying it because it's cheap. They're buying it because it's something different, it's something they like. And if you're keeping it up, you're going to lose your customers. That's the way I've always felt. That's what we always do. I will make something better, but I won't cheapen it. So. Any other questions?
Your father lived in Granville when he was first took down? Because you guys lived on...
We lived on Angel Avenue until I was 13 years old. We lived in Winchell's house. Your mother lived next door.
Yeah.
My aunt lived next door to her. Your aunt lived in the back. And I said, but, yeah, I lived there. And then my dad, we bought a house up on Maury Avenue, off of Dean Avenue.
That's why I used to go for the soda.
In fact, my son, he's living in the house now. But, yeah, I was born and brought up right here. This is the papers, Mrs. Farmer. I was 9 years old when I started delivering the papers. I used to knock on her door on Saturday morning. She used to call me in and give me 30 cents for the paper and a nickel tip.
Wow.
I said, the papers were a nickel, you made a penny. I said, I used to deliver all granite, go down to the Worcester Textile. I had the boiler man, he bought papers. And I used to go to Shackleton's bakery, and I used to go to the social club and the Whitehall building. I said the Whitehall building had a spa, a hardware store. It had a barber shop. It had a post office. Mrs. Barberman ran the post office. They used to deliver her papers. And then it had a market on the other side. And I said, you look at it now, you wouldn't know what it is. But they built that for the bosses in the mill. And I said, this place around here is real thrice. I used to deliver the Royal Lance gas station. This Bella's over there. There used to be a gas station, smoker station. There's a gentleman over here, Burger, who was the minister. I worked with him on Matheson Street. And I said, but yeah, I used to deliver 13 papers in the morning. That took me an hour and a half. I used to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was 9 years old. And I used to go all the way down here and go to Greystone and do Greystone and come back home. And I said for 13 cents a day. But I said, when I came out of the boiler room one day, Howard Shawcross owned the roofs at that time. And he lived over on Angel Avenue. Where the Polaris station is now, that used to be an empty lot. It was under the ground, like it wasn't level. They filled that in. And the house behind it was Howard Shawcross's house. And he had all the paper roofs in granite. And I was always hanging around, so he asked me if he could do the morning when I was 9 years old. So I used to sell papers for him on Saturday and Sunday. And then, so I started doing it. He said, there's 5 extra papers. If you sell them, you can keep the money. And I said, gee, that's more money than I made if I... It was better when I came out of the mill one morning. The people went, there was 3 shifts, and they used to go in at 11 and come out at 7. And I was just coming out of the boiler room, and the people were hollering, hey kid, you got a paper, you got a paper? I said, yeah, I sold 5 papers like nothing. So then I started selling more and more, and he said, I can't. He said, I'm going to have to start charging for the papers. He said, you're selling too many. I used to sell 30 papers a day right there.
Wow.
And when Rocky Marciano fought, I used to order 100 papers that morning. My dad used to take me down to the mill, and I'd pile them up on the sidewalk, and in 10 minutes they'd be gone.
Wow.
Because when they went to work at 11, they didn't know who won the fight.
Yeah.
There was no TVs, they weren't allowed to bring